In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark.
Time to finally exercise my own personal demons. Talk about
Okay,
Dark
tell
Souls.
us what Corey did this time. Where did he touch you?
No, it was From Software. From Software touched me in a bad place.
Where can I get this game?
I don't think you should, Jason, because Jeff hasn't shut up about this game for like 2 weeks now, so I'm hoping this review will get all that angst out of him.
Well, anyway, we're talking about Dark Souls, and I am joined today by Nick Hodges.
Hello.
Jason Murphy.
Hi. And then there's Captain Sassy, Kevin Baird.
Woohoo! Yeah!
He's embracing it! Yes!
I'm so proud of him. All right.
So we're talking about Dark Souls.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm almost asleep again. Playing this game for so long.
Is it that boring?
No, it's not that boring. So for anybody who doesn't know, Dark Souls is the spiritual successor to Demon Souls, which was, I think, 2 years ago on the PS3 exclusive game from Software, the makers of the Tenku series, Chrome Hounds, Armored Core, and a bunch of other crazy Japanese games. And the thing about Demon Souls that everybody talks about that makes me want to collectively bitch slap the entire world is just how hard it is. It's so hard.
It is hard. Come on. It's hard.
Jeff, I know that you're sitting there maybe polishing your brass balls and trying to show us how large they are, but everyone I've talked to, i.e. the entirety of the internet, says that it's fucking hard.
Okay, well...
So what are you, like Fred Savage's little brother from The Wizard? Is that what you're trying to do? Great. Okay, you're the best video game player ever. Don't
You
tell us
knew
it's
that
not
this
hard.
was going to be hard, Jeff, okay? You can't really bitch about it.
No, I see. That's the thing, is that I don't think that these games are hard. I think that what they are is unforgiving, and I think that there is a difference there. Both of these games, Demon Souls and Dark Souls, are third-person, hack-and-slash, magical, dark fantasy games. And the first one had more to do with ghosts and goblins, and this one has more to do with zombies. And
Yeah, it's like Elder Scrolls, like Oblivion or something in a way.
yeah, I mean, the story, I was trying to think of the best way to encapsulate the story, and the story is, first there was darkness, and then came light, and light and darkness were pissed off at each other, and now the light is failing, and it's up to you to bring it back again.
From the dark, they came and found the souls of lords within the flame.
But that really doesn't matter.
Oh, like Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. You have to collect enough stars to get through. What this game really comes down to is the game has a series of rules, and if you don't follow the rules, you're going to get killed real fast. In fact, you're going to get killed. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever going to play this game and never die, but you're going to get killed constantly.
By rules, do you mean like don't talk about Dark Souls? The second rule is don't talk about Dark Souls?
No, I mean, it's more like the things that are going to kill you in this game are all...
It's everything. Everything's going to kill you.
Well,
Look, in the beginning of the game, you go into this really quick dungeon thing, whatever it is. Okay, you get out of like a jail or whatever, I forget. And you go into this room and there's like a door there. And then all of a sudden this giant monster comes out with a huge club. And he just smashes you. And you're like, okay. And then you have to wait for like these insane loading times, which sucks, and get your character back. So you basically figure out rapidly that you have to run away because this thing will just kick your ass. And you run away, and then like you follow around this like tunnel and everything, and then you find like this dying night. For some reason, you'll have to explain this to me, Jeff. No background music at all. It's like this quiet like emptiness I felt the whole time with an echo chamber. And And this guy gives you get like a shield, and you learn how to use it really quickly, and a sword. And then you like go back and fight this giant monster with your new shield and sword. And it's really hard. It's hard. I don't know what you're trying to say here, Jeff.
Okay,
it's hard.
This is what I'm trying to say.
He's trying to say you're a pussy, Kevin. That's
No,
what he's
I'm
trying
not
to
I know.
I'm not trying to say.
Totally doing that.
Here's an example. If you have the patience and the time and the skill, the first time that you walk into that room and that giant monster is there, you can kill him.
Oh my God. I mean, that may be true, but it's totally painful to figure it out. I mean, I agree that if you're patient, it works. The problem I have with this game, and this is my only problem with it because I didn't play it nearly as long as you. I got frustrated with it pretty quick. Is that the load times when you do die take a while, and it's like, why can't they just like, I don't know, fix that part of the game engine so I don't have to like. I'm sure you spent like more than a few hours of your 80 hours just watching that loading thing come back up on the screen. Because I just found it to be really painful.
Okay, did you play it on the PlayStation or the Xbox?
Xbox.
Okay, maybe this is Xbox specific, but I never saw more than like, when you load back into the game, it shows you these pages with item descriptions on it, and I never saw more than like 2 or 3 of those before the game came back up again. I'd say like 20 seconds, 30 seconds max to get back into the game.
It's a long time to sit outside the game. Like if you die every 5 seconds and then you have to wait 20 seconds. I mean, you must be really good. I realize you're just the pro.
He has patience, time, and skill.
Yeah, and I suck.
I have none of those.
Right. It's just that I don't have the like when I get killed for the 5th time and I have to wait another 20 seconds to try like rolling to the left instead of rolling to the right. Mm-hmm. I really lose patience, man. I mean, I just think like I'm gonna kill this monster eventually. I got to go do something else. But,
well,
go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: what class did you play? Which starting class?
The warrior, I think it is the first one.
I played the seamstress.
Yeah, I'm trying to
there's your problem.
Rolls, and I'm trying to run away from this thing, and I mean, it's just this huge monster with a big club, and it just smashes you constantly, and you're like, you run up to it, and you got this sword, and you're like. Hitting it, and then like a little bit of health moves off the meter on the thing, and then you run away again, and it just clobbers you. And I'm like, I've played this a million times in other games, and I know that like, I can have the crappy dagger and eventually just whittle the monster down by like doing everything perfectly. Mm-hmm. But I just don't find that to be very fun. I mean, it's kind of like, the challenge is like I have
to
have
wait till he starves to death.
Yeah, I have to have reflexes of like a 12-year-old, man. I can't, you're old too, so I guess you're just better than I am. I have nothing else to say about it. I'm no good at these games.
I've been thinking about it. Because I've been kind of watching some of the stuff around Dark Souls, and there have been a lot of people on the internet who have been asking, why is Dark Souls fun? And I've thought about it for the last 2 weeks while I've been playing the game, and I know what my answer to that question is. And the answer to that question is Dark Souls is fun because they start you off and you are essentially, you're dressed in a shitty armor and you've got a sword and you're able to do, these 4 or 5 things. You can roll around guys, you can parry, you can block stuff, with certain shields. And then the whole game is based on, it's less about, I got the upgrade so that now I can do a triple slash or a double jump or something like that. It's less about the game doling out upgrades to you, and it's more about you figuring out the best way to play. So there have been certain bosses in the game where I got to the boss and they just killed me over and over and over and over again. And so what I had to do was I had to pull back away from that part of the game and go somewhere else and find some better equipment or kind of think about what I was doing or switch it up. There were times where I played a knight and I had really heavy armor on, and there were times where I had to take all that armor off and roll around like a ninja in order to beat a boss because they were too fast or too strong to take on with the armor that I had. And so I think, to me, the reason that I love this game so much is because there's a sense of accomplishment to it that, when I play a modern video game, I kind of feel like I'm going through the motions. I mean, I don't find games to be, at least on normal difficulty level, and I usually play everything on normal, to not be ridiculously difficult. But there's parts of Dark Souls where when you beat that boss, it's like you're, 8 years old again, and you jump up out of your chair and go, yeah, fucking suck it. bitch. Like, no,
Because that's what I spoke like when I was 8 years old. It's like, shit, man, He-Man's coming on. I got to get down with that. Fuck, I got to get home right now because motherfucker's going to be fighting Skeletor in about 5 minutes. Damn.
Yeah, I appreciate a game being hard, and I like the feeling of accomplishment when you actually do defeat something. My problem with this game is that I just felt that it was really, and granted, I didn't get as far as you did, so what you're describing is interesting. It's just that it just felt like one of those typical boss battle type things where I have to do something very specific over and over again in order to defeat a monster, and that there really isn't a challenge except to find out what it is it takes to beat the creature. I mean, you try different combinations of things until you get the right thing, and then you just have to repeat that process over and over again, which I find really boring, and one of the reasons I don't like to defeat boss creatures.
After a big boss fight, I usually feel like if it was like particularly tough, I don't feel elated and like cheering. I feel like, oh, thank you, Jesus, fine. You happy now? You just wasted my last half hour when I could be enjoying the rest of the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've also been thinking about the people who this is definitely a game for somebody who wants a game that they can play for the next 6 months. Yeah, at the very least. I mean, maybe even one playthrough, because there's a lot going on in this game. The game itself has no save system, just like Demon's Souls. It auto-saves everywhere. So if you want to try something, if you want to try hitting that guy and see what happens, the game is more than willing to let you do that. But if you do it, it's done, and you can't take it back. So, you have to wait until you start. You could do it when you beat Dark Souls or Demon's Souls. You get to you do a new game plus, and everything resets. So you could try it again on your second playthrough of the game. But when you start a new game, everything ratchets up in difficulty even harder every time you restart the game. So the challenge exponentially increases. There's never really a time when the game becomes super easy.
It's like normal, hard, and then fuck you and die. Is the difficulty settings on that?
Wasn't there a point where you literally had to start over because you made some sort of error or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very early on in the game, I got an item that was used for upgrading your